Welcome back, my dear students of class 8. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Let's proceed on with the revision session of the circulatory system. I have taken up the conditions related to the functioning of the heart. The second condition, that is the cardiac arrest. I have told you that this condition basically arises when the heart suddenly stops pumping blood in the body. If this suddenly there is because of any reason, which could be the coronary artery disease or it could be congenital heart disease. Congenital means since birth, and coronary artery is the artery which supplies the muscles of the heart, supplies blood to the muscles of the heart or supplying blood to the heart itself, then for its proper functioning. If it is affected, if there is some disease in it or there is some congenital problem, that is some problem since birth, or because of use of drugs like cocaine and or you have had strenuous exercise, these all are the causes behind the sudden stop in the pumping of or sudden stoppage in the pumping of the blood in the heart. So what is happening when this pumping stops suddenly? Then definitely the oxygen transport will be stopped, and once the oxygen transport has been stopped, that means the person death will occur if it is not treated immediately. Is that clear? So there are symptoms of the loss of consciousness. Generally a person collapses and there he is not conscious, and then there is, if we try to wake up such people, they will not wake up because most probably death occurs if not treated on time. And there is chest pain, or it may be, there may be also shortness of breath initially, and then of course then sudden collapse, the person falls and dies. Then shortness of breath and nausea. Is that clear? These are the symptoms, and the prevention are to avoid smoking and maintain a healthy weight by not indulging in too much oily and spicy food and not having a lot of junk food and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So these are this is the cardiac arrest. So what is heart attack? I have told you when there is a stop in the pumping of the blood in the heart, then the cardiac arrest takes place. Arrest means something has been stopped suddenly, and cardiac means related to the heart. Now this is different from another condition which is known as heart attack. In this, the muscles basically heart muscles are affected, and it occurs when there is a blood clot, and when this clot that has been formed in the muscles in the flow of the artery which is responsible for the supply of blood to the muscles of the heart, they are affected. There is a clot and it is blocking the flow of blood to the muscles. Then what is happening is that there is no oxygen, so the tissue dies at that part where the muscle is supplying. That part dies just because of the absence of oxygen, and this is known as the heart attack. And that part of the tissue which is affected inside the heart is damaged permanently. Is that clear? So the heart at this time is still pumping the blood, but a part of the heart has been damaged. And the person is also breathing and he is conscious. There is discomfort and tightness of pain in the chest. There is choking feeling in the throat and heaviness in the arms. Then there is cold sweat, and there is a person sweats and feel cold, and there is a temporary change in the vision. A person is not able to see properly, and there is a bit of confusion also. So this generally happens because of deposition of the fat in the inner walls of the coronary artery. This condition, you can see, this is known as arteriosclerosis, and you can see here there is a deposition over here, deposition of the cholesterol or fat inside the artery, and this has led to the narrowing down of the diameter, reducing the diameter of the of the arteries, leading to definitely a lesser flow of blood, and it reduces the blood flow to the that part of the heart. Is that clear? So the basic reasons for it are prevention are to quit smoking, and everywhere, whether be it any part of your body, healthy lifestyle is maintained, that is regular exercising and the maintenance of idle weight and eating a healthy diet, doing regular exercise. These all definitely will prevent these problems. Then talking about a very common condition nowadays, that is hypertension, that is high blood pressure. Now, I have told you the normal blood pressure is 120 by 80 mm of Hg, but a person who is hypertensive tends to have a blood pressure which is higher, that is 140 to 90 millimeter of Hg, and it is even more in people. This is called hypertension. Now, we don't have the exact causes. We don't know why this hypertension occurs exactly. We don't have one specific reason, but definitely stress is one of the factors which can act as a predisposing factor, that is posing a health hazard in the form of hypertension. Then obesity means excess weight, excess fat in the body, smoking, and even in cases where there may be some other disease, then a person might also be hypertensive. But these, that is stress, obesity and smoking, are the major causes. The symptoms are headache, shortness of breath and nose bleeding. Exactly, and a person is dull, lethargic also. Then the prevention can be by reducing the intake of fats and salts that you are taking in your food. That has to be, salt content has to be reduced. Then fat has to be reduced. The food is to be cooked in lesser amount of oil. Then exercising regularly, eating a healthy diet and maintaining an ideal weight by eating a healthy diet. These are some of the preventive measures which can be taken for preventing hypertension. Now, to prevent all this, that is cardiac arrest and heart attack, these are emergencies, and in order to treat them, because they cannot be treated at home, so immediate help that can be given can be in the form of cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and that involves compressing the chest and giving artificial breathing repeatedly. Is that clear? So how can we keep the heart healthy? It is by doing regular exercises in the form of regular walking, jogging, cycling, then playing outdoor games like cricket, football, badminton. These are outdoor games which are a good form of exercise. Not eating much oily fried food, then eating too many sweets, or even the junk food should be avoided, the burgers. Then you having food at restaurant that you never know in what kind of oil is it being cooked, or what kind of food that is you are consuming, whether it is stale or anything. We don't know what quality of food are we are just tasting it, and by a taste we are judging that particular restaurant is serving good food. So you should avoid it. Excessive fat and sugar increases weight. So in order to avoid obesity, I told you that unnecessary gain in the weight. Is that clear? So include fresh fruits and vegetables in your diet. Eat a balanced diet, including the roughage also in your diet. That is, the fiber rich foods like the whole grain cereals and oats should be consumed. Then we should reduce the intake of salt. Is that clear? These are some of the means of maintaining a healthy heart. I told you about the antibodies and antigens which are concerned with the blood groups. Antibodies are the protein that are produced in response to a foreign substance, whether it may be a microorganism like bacteria, virus, or maybe a toxin in the food in the form of some pollutant in water, food, or air pollutant. And these antibodies are formed in response to it, and these proteins react with foreign substances and make them ineffective. How? By antigens. And these antigens are present on the surface of the RBCs. So they stimulate or they activate the uh, production of antibodies in the blood. So both are important. So Karl Landsteiner identified different blood groups in humans, and you can see this blood type in compatibility chart, sorry. And here you can see the blood type or blood group is divided into 4 major types. That is, the type of blood group depends on the presence of these antibodies and antigens, which I have told you just now. So you have the chart for this on page number 6, that is the table 6.3 on page number 73. That is the different blood groups and the antigens and antibodies. That is, blood group A is having antigen A and antibody B. Blood group B is having antigen B and antibody A, and AB you can see A and B antigens are present and antibodies are none. And then O blood group, there is none of the antigens, only antibodies are present, A and B. So on this basis, blood is donated when a person is in need, and this is known as blood transfusion. So this is the compatibility chart, that is the person who is giving the blood is called the donor, and the person who is receiving it is called the recipient. So this is the compatibility chart, and the person who will for different blood types, the person who will give and who will receive, who will be the recipient and who will be the donor, have been given on positive and negative are given on the basis of a factor, that is presence of a rhesus factor. If it is present, the person is called as Rh positive, and it is absent from the blood, it is known as Rh negative. So this compatibility chart has to be kept in mind, and otherwise what will happen, a person will receive incompatible blood, then if the blood is not compatible, then what will happen, that a clumping of the red blood cells will occur and a person will die. Then you have another system in your body. I have told you that the circulatory system includes the blood vascular system and the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system, I have told you, is containing the lymph vessels, lymph nodes, and a fluid which is known as lymph. So lymph is what? It is a colorless. So what is lymph? It is a colorless fluid, and which is derived from tissue fluid, and it is contained within the lymph vessel. That is it. And what is the speciality of this particular fluid? That it is not containing any RBCs and platelets. It is just containing special type of WBCs, which are known as the lymphocytes. So the non-cellular component, I have told you the fluid part, which consists of water and proteins, enzymes, and antibodies. What are the various functions of this lymph? That is, it is obviously the special type of WBCs, that is lymphocytes, have a role to play in protecting the body, that is in defense. Then it is supplying nutrients to the different parts of the body. Then it removes waste from the tissue cells. They are carried back through the veins in the, that is the venules, and then into the vein they pass on to the heart to be becoming more effective or more useful for the body. Then it removes waste from the tissue cells. Then it maintains the composition of tissue fluid, absorbs fat from the small intestine, which I had shown you in the last session, through lymphatic vessels. Those are known as the lacteals, which are located in the intestinal villi. Villi are small projection, hair-like projection, or in the intestine, in order to increase the surface area. In those villi are the lacteals, which help in the absorption of fat. Then the lymph vessels. So these are tubes with thin walls and walls. These network that you can see in the form of thread-like structure, these are the lymph vessels, and they carry the lymph into the lymph nodes. What are lymph nodes? These small circles, green circles that you can see, are small globular masses of lymphatic tissue, and they are present in the head, in the necks, in the armpit, and in the groin over here. Is that clear? So they are important for the proper functioning of the immune system, the system which protects our body from various infection. Is that clear? And help us in building the resistance against various diseases, that is known as the immune system. So this completes the chapter. Please revise it. I will send you the exercise in the next video, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.